going on, guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another video. Today for you guys, I thought I'd hit you up with a second video and talk about something non-Kingdom Hearts related here for 5 seconds, because a few hours ago, PlayStation actually announced something pretty intriguing, something that caught me a little bit off guard, but honestly speaking, I've been sort of expecting this to happen ever since Nintendo's idea behind rebooting old consoles and shipping them off in a package preloaded with 20 to 30 games. I think it's a really cool idea, and I've definitely been waiting for other companies to kind of follow suit and do the same sort of thing, and PlayStation today are finally following suit with releasing a PlayStation Classic, which is basically a mini PlayStation 1 that is going to come preloaded with 20 classic games. Now, there's obviously a lot of discussion surrounding this whole thing as of right now between the whole conversation point of PlayStation is basically jumping in and cashing in on Nintendo's idea, and to a certain extent, yes, they kind of are. Nintendo sort of started this thing of rebooting and bringing back their old consoles, whether it be in a mini or classic form, and shipping it off as one complete package, being able to, of course, use this little console with modern day TVs or monitors through HDMI. It's a really cool idea, and it's a way of bringing back that kind of nostalgia factor and enabling players these days to play a bunch of classics they might have played in their childhood days. And in the ways of the NES Mini or the Super Nintendo Classic, those consoles have been absolutely selling out like hotcakes, so it's sort of a no-brainer that PlayStation would decide to jump into this idea. So the PlayStation Classic is going to be releasing December 3rd this year, so not too far away, and like I said, it's going to include 20 games. Now, so far PlayStation have described it as being 20 generation-defining games, so obviously it's going to contain a lineup of games that were highly praised, games that were obviously recognizable to that of the PlayStation brand and sort of made the PlayStation brand. So far, we have 5 confirmed games for the system. These games so far are Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. It goes without saying that Final Fantasy VII would definitely be there, one of the most highly regarded PlayStation 1 games of all time. But in terms of a few others, I'm for sure expecting the likes of Castlevania, Metal Gear, Twisted Metal, Ape Escape, Oddworld, Tomb Raider, Medieval, Silent Hill, Crash, and Spyro are also sort of obvious ones as well, but then again, at the same time, we have to keep in mind that there's only going to be 20 games on this system, and when you think of the likes of Crash and Spyro, there's a total of 3 games, so all up, 6 games. You wouldn't really want 6 out of the total 20 games on this classic system to be Crash and Spyro. As much as I'm a die-hard fanboy for both Crash and Spyro, I really wouldn't want 6 out of the 20 to be, you know, their trilogies. And with Crash and Spyro also receiving remasters from the ground up within the past sort of 2 years, will PlayStation put either of their games onto the system? Who really knows? But I think one game that everyone would definitely want on the system is Crash Team Racing. This is a game that currently has only been available to purchase on your PlayStation 3 or PSP back in the day on the PS Store, so to sort of bring it back, that would be a really cool thing, and I think CTR for a lot of people would be a selling point for this system. Now keep in mind, these classic systems aim to emulate these classic games and not so much remaster them or upscale them, so don't expect to be playing PlayStation 1 games at, you know, crystal clear 1080p or 4K. The console does use HDMI, and similar to the NES or Super Nintendo Classic, it'll likely run at a resolution of 720p or 1080p, but the games will definitely not be running at a native resolution of that. Now I have to say, there is one tiny small little thing that I do not like about this setup right here, and that is admittedly the controller. I was never ever fond of the controllers that didn't have the analog sticks. However, though, we have to keep in mind that when PlayStation released the PS1 back in 1994/5, they released it with a controller that didn't have analog sticks. It wasn't actually until 1997 where they released the PlayStation controller with analog sticks, which was called the DualShock. So, you know, I guess this is PlayStation being true to the name of being PlayStation Classic, releasing it with a controller that you know, doesn't have analog sticks. And I guess most of the games that will be packaged and bundled in with the PlayStation Classic will be some of the older titles that were more so prone to using the D-pad rather than the analog stick setup. And lastly, let's talk about the price point. What is this thing going to cost us? Well, the PlayStation Classic comes in at $99.99 USD, which really isn't too bad when you think about this thing containing 20 games preloaded onto it. PlayStation 1 games and a lot of classic and retro games, more so the highly regarded ones, cost a lot of money to actually physically buy or to just be able to play, and if a lot of these games aren't available on a digital platform or marketplace, then being able to play a lot of these classic games is sort of hard. The only other means of being able to do this is obviously via emulation on your computer, but I know that a lot of people prefer not to do that, and by doing it this way, it means that we are obviously directly supporting PlayStation and other publishers and developers, so that's always a nice bonus as well. All in all though, definitely some exciting stuff. I have to say, even though I am an avid PlayStation follower, it's very obvious that PlayStation have just jumped on to Nintendo's idea. You kinda can't blame them. And being so invested into PlayStation like I am, it goes without saying that I will definitely be copying this on December 3rd. Hopefully this kind of marks the start of the classic console line for the PlayStation brand. Eventually I would absolutely love to see a PlayStation 2 Classic or a PlayStation 2 Mini of the likes. Can you imagine, packed with 30 different titles? Could include like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, Sly, so many different Final Fantasies, Kingdom Hearts. Even though, you know, we've got so many remixes, we don't need any more Kingdom Hearts. A PS2 Mini would just be something to absolutely marvel over. Now guys, in the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Is this something you're going to be copying in December? Let me know. Now guys, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.